have you done in the course that you thought was challenging?
I personally didn't find it to be challenging in particular, but the only thing that I would consider as being challenging for me is adjusting to the IB style of writing, such as using the same keyword 50 times in one single essay, or just using the same phrase or repeating the thesis in your IOC more than once.
So all these projects we have, so say the FOA, it's not like any other course where they have their own textbook, and so you have to do your own digging, and I think that's a great part of doing your own exploration. And I think it's at the same time it's challenging because there is no guideline to what you have to do, but also it challenges you to seek help. Like you could go to your teachers and talk about it, and yeah.
Adding on to what you said, to me the hardest part of English Lang Lit would be the written essays, so paper 1 and paper 2. And then from what our teacher said, the most important part of an essay is the introduction, to be able to answer the prompt directly and so the readers know what to expect throughout. And he said that just from the introduction you can know how well a paper is, so it's really important to formulate a thesis that directly answers the question. To me, the ability to recognize what are the crucial points to answer in the thesis is the most difficult part.
IOCs, individual oral commentary.
In an IOC, you have a random passage that you've previously studied in the course and have to analyze it and talk about stylistic features or linguistic terms used in the passage for 10 to 12 minutes, and then you get questions asked by your teacher. That was quite challenging for me, especially because I don't know how to think on the spot, and just speaking for 10 minutes about one particular passage is quite hard if you think about all the components needed.
Yeah, and it's like hard to keep track of time as well. Sometimes you get like maybe there's like not enough to say and you're like
you have too much time.
Yeah, too much time left, and then there are like sometimes when you have too much to say and you're like going over time and it just cut you off and you're not done with your thoughts and what you think about it. And it's not just like 2 or 3 passages you have to study. It's like a collection of poems and short stories and like Shakespeare. There's a lot of things you have to study. We got like around like 30-40 to study as a packet, and it was like really thick.
And also about the IOC is really hard, and unlike the written tests and the FOAs you can do multiple times until you get your desired grade, the IOC is a one-time thing.
The second question, if I recall, is what have you learned in this course?
Well, content-wise, I learned how to analyze a lot of texts, such as Margaret Atwood's poems, Othello, and the things they carried. But I feel like from this course, I learned how to write in a smart way, more like adjusting to how to like write in IB style of essays. But in the process, I've learned how to like what's an effective way of writing, and also I've learned how to construct an effective PowerPoint slideshow.
How to write a good intro, since I would say that during junior year that's the thing that I struggle with the most.
Since the beginning, we have learned how to analyze text and how to correctly do it in the way that the IB requires, and like pointing out all of the specific stylistic features and how they're used to get the point across or the message of the author. And
you become a better writer because part of English is like you have to write a lot, commentaries, essays, paper 1, paper 2, written tasks. It's all about writing, and it's usually on the spot writing where you have to you don't get time to revise and edit it. You have to really like pump out a writing by yourself within like 2 hours and an hour, and it really helps you like improve your writing.
What do you consider as the benefits of taking this course? Well, I feel like the biggest benefit of taking this course is the fact that you get to explore the language realms of English. In this course, I got an opportunity to focus on non-literature texts like advertisements, newspaper articles, even short films, and I found those really interesting to analyze.
All these assignments we mentioned before, you get to choose what you learn, and I think that was a very valuable experience for me.
With as I said, it's you learn to become a better writer, so it really benefits you in other areas, like in all of your other courses, whether it's like science or like social studies. You have to write. You have to write like a lab report, or you have to write essays or something that represents your class or something, and it really helps you to know the fundamentals, improve on how to write an essay and how to grab people's attention, especially if you're doing something related to social studies. And it's really beneficial for journalism as well if you're really interested in that. It teaches you how to write like in a way that grabs people's attention.
And then for the speaking side of English, FOAs, which are further oral activities, you basically have to present, like you do a presentation. And this helps a lot with public speaking and standing up in front of a group of people and just presenting with the help of in most cases with a PowerPoint. I don't know if people do it other ways. And that's similar to the IOC, but it's not individual, so you can also do it in groups. So that sometimes is quite fun to collaborate. And as I said, with public speaking, you can learn how to just be confident in what you're saying in front of a crowd.
Alright, what do you enjoy the most about the class?
For me, since I don't really like the speaking part of English, I enjoy doing written tasks. A written task is basically a piece of writing, either creative or analytical, about anything that you've studied in the course. So if it's about language, for example, you would do it on maybe like gender in the media or stuff like that. And if it's on literature, then you would do it on maybe Shakespeare. So for me, I really enjoyed doing that because I enjoy being creative in my writing. So especially in written task 1, I like, you can basically do whatever you want, and that's quite fun.
Yeah, I like the written task 2, especially written task 1, the creative one, because written task 2 is just an essay and it can get pretty boring sometimes. But I do enjoy the speaking part, not the IOCs, but like the presentations we have, because you get the time to research a topic that you're really interested in for most part, but it's restricted to like what to the course and how like it relates to maybe like culture and language or gender and media, like she says. But you get to talk about something for 10 to 12 minutes about something you really like, and to deliver an idea to your class or so. And I think I actually enjoy that, although it can be really stressful at times because you have to talk in front of like your class. But I do also like one of the core topics, which is media, like gender and media, where we just like analyze like advertisements and also
Those are pretty fun.
yeah, advertisements and like commercials. Like that was really fun. Like it's not just like the normal like original like text you gotta analyze. You need to analyze like the background colors and everything, and I think that was really fun.
I feel like Langlit really allows me to analyze the things that goes around us, especially right now the unit that we're learning is regarding language. And it's really interesting how sometimes the way we talk to people and then the words that we use, actually there's a reason to why we use these words or where these words are derived. For example, you did an FOA on language and taboo, and then so usually people refrain from using profanity, but then some people use words to replace these profanity words. But it's really interesting how we don't consider these replacements as having a bad connotation, even though we know that they mean the same thing. So it's really interesting how these little pieces in our life actually have a deeper meaning and significance too.
What I really enjoy the most in this course is that it's a really nice shift from the literatures that I previously did in other classes in the past. And as a person who's really interested in marketing, advertising, and those visual elements, I find this kind of things that we're doing in class really interesting and fun to do.
Alright. What do you think students should know in order to make an informed decision on whether or not they should take the course?
Okay, so obviously there's the first difference of literature and language and literature. So as it's in the name, in Lang and Lit, you get to do stuff that is more about like what's happening today. So like newspaper articles or photos or videos of maybe news events that happened recently, like 2 days ago or something. Whereas in literature, from what I've heard from friends in the course, you do more about like novels and analysis of novels. And so if you're really into reading, then I suppose literature is more for you. But if you're more into, as I said, analyzing like newspaper articles as well as doing literature, then Lang Lit is for you.
So if you're someone who is really into reading and then textual analysis, I recommend to take Lit. But if you want to have a variety of different styles of pieces, then I would recommend to take Lang Lit.
So I feel like what they should know is know what kind of texts that they're interested in or what they are good at analyzing or even thinking about, because language and literature course is a mix of language and literature, as it's pretty self-explanatory. But if you're someone who's really into literature or is simply awesome at analyzing literature texts, then I say you would go take the literature class. But if you're someone who likes to look at more modern texts and non-literature texts like advertisements, even TV shows or newspaper articles, etc., then you would certainly take Lang and Lit course.
What are some aspects of the course that you think are misinterpreted by people?
That it's like an easier class than like the other English class, like Lit.
Yeah.
Like a lot, like from what I've heard before, they are like, oh, Lit's the harder class because you have to read more and you have to it's more content or so, and Lang Lit's more just like more fun, but it's not easier because it's basically the same idea. It's just that we have to analyze different stuff, not just text and books and novels. We have to analyze and connect it back to the society right now and like how it kind of affects like.
And then also in Lang Lit, well, when I first heard about it, I thought it was mostly about writing essays or reading books. And there is a lot more to that. I think probably we do write quite a lot of essays, but most of them are also in-class essays. So there isn't that much like focus on writing essays, like purely essays. You do also do other stuff or just class discussions, and you also have like the FOAs and IOCs. So it's kind of a mix of everything, to be honest.
I feel like the main misconception of this course is that many people think that it's easier than literature course, and I do kind of agree with that to an extent, because that's how I thought in the beginning before taking this course. However, I feel like it's really up to what you're good at and what you're interested in. For me, I was interested in advertisements and modern text, so I chose Lang and Lit, and I'm really happy with the decision that I made. Also, initially, I personally thought that this course, Lang and Lit course, would be more centered around language, but I found out later that it's actually a really nice mix of language and literature, and I'm really enjoying it.